guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Gloria, and this is Storytime with Nanolin and Glow. Today we are going to be continuing our read of Another Treasure. Chapter 5. The next morning, the sisters were up early to prepare to go to the barn to open at 10 o'clock. Mary and Martha had baked well into the early morning hours. Elizabeth knew they were tired. She was too, but not because she spent all time in the kitchen. She'd gone to bed, but instead of sleeping, she stared at the ceiling, trying to sort out their next move. Today, they would be beginning contacting people, asking if they could pay back what they purchased from the Smuckers estate. Would it make them look incompetent? How could they make a request without alerting their customers that they might have something worth more valuable than they realized? Elizabeth knew that they needed to be discreet about as possible, but they knew what they had to accomplish. She hated the idea of being dishonest in any way. She finally fell asleep, and she jumped if she was being chased by a Civil War soldier holding a sword made of gold and wearing an emerald and diamond bracelet. And she dreamed was so lucrative she woke up laughing, at least for a while. But concern for the shop and for her sisters quickly chased away any hint of humor in the situation. It wasn't just financial aspect or the fact that Anita could ruin their reputation. It was knowing that Mary and Martha both needed this venture to work. The truth be told, so did Elizabeth. She didn't want to be alone anymore. If the store failed and her sister left, what would happen after Mama died? She shut herself in the house, not wanting to go anywhere. She had purpose again, a reason to face the day. As Elizabeth was just finishing in the kitchen, cleaning up the kitchen cleanup chairs, a knock at the door. Before she could dry her hands and move to answer, the door opened, and Phoebe Fitcher, the oldest daughter of Cecil and Rachel Fitcher, their nearest neighbor to the east, stepped inside with a wickered basket draped over one arm. Dressed in a traditional Amish attire, her dark blue dress was covered in one white apron. Her bonnet string hung, untied, over her shoulders. The young woman set the basket on the edge of the counter and spread her arms wide for her. Elizabeth was quick to accommodate Phoebe's unwritten request. Phoebe had been born with Down syndrome, and though 20 years old, she functioned at approximately the age level of an 8-year-old. She had no inhibitions of when she came to openly express affection. "So, how are we this morning, Phoebe?" Elizabeth asked. She pulled her arms away from the hug. And Down's cow provide us lots of good milk, cheese, and butter this week? Phoebe nodded. I'm sorry, guys. Her face like, "Oh, geez, Miss Liz. Have a look." The loincloth revealed 6 bottles of milk, a large block of hand-cured butter, and a wheel of cheese, which had been processed by her neighbor's loving hands. Over 2 years ago, when Phoebe older brother Adam married, and he and his new bride took up residency in the Donhuns of his parents' home, Elizabeth made a handshake agreement to let Adam use the Classens farmland to pasture for his dairy cow in exchange for a weekly supply of dairy products. She occasionally felt a twitch of guilt, and for certain she had received better end of the deal. "And my mama said to tell you she hopes to come by today or tomorrow and see how the shop's coming along. And she said she is bringing a surprise." Elizabeth laughed. The heaviness she had been feeling all morning had lifted. Tell your mom we'd love to see her, and she really didn't need to bring us a thing. Phoebe's mom, Rachel, had always been the best neighbor that one could ask for, especially since the passing of Elizabeth's mother. She had become a dear friend. Oh, but she does. We just made it very sure, but I promised not to tell her what it is. All right then, Phoebe, don't tell me. Elizabeth patted the young woman on the shoulder. I love surprises. She emptied the basket and put the items in the fridge. Then she handed a wrapped loaf of, here's something sweet to pay you for making the delivery. You be careful going home. I've got to get to work myself. She exchanged another hug with Phoebe before seeing her out the door. Throughout the morning, Elizabeth could not shake the feeling of dread covered her in her heavy cloak. Yesterday morning she had been filled with hope, but today she had a hard time seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. She looked through a stack of books, which one of them had fallen off the table. She picked them up and opened a page and read, "For the joy of the Lord is strength," Naomi 8. In Psalms 34, David said, "I will bless the Lord at all times. He is praised and continue to see." Verse 1. It is easy to praise in good times, but who can praise God in difficult times? It shows where our confidence lies. God is on your side. Trust Him. He will bring you victory. Tears sprang from Elizabeth's eyes. She tried to blink them away, but she could see to put the devotional book back. It took but a fair question. Where was her faith? Why would she allow the temporary setback to come? I'm sorry, Lord, she whispered. I believe opening this door was your will. You brought my sisters home because we needed each other. But it put this into your hands and believe everything will work out. This heavy feeling she had been fighting all morning suddenly lifted. God hadn't forgotten them at all, but she was with them. And Lizzie, is everything okay? I don't know. Mary held up a tablet with the photo of a painting on it. Do you remember this? Emily, sorry guys, my brain's in here. Emily shook her head. It doesn't ring a bell to me right now. It belonged to Warren Smucker. It's not among our inventory, but I do recall seeing it. If our records we haven't sold it, it seems like it must have disappeared. Elizabeth thought, we had some donations that we weren't quite ready to display. Thought everything from this was prepared before the opening. But let me check the inventory room. Maybe it's still in there. Mary nodded at her sister, walking away to help out a woman who was looking at a blender. Mary told Martha where she was going and went into a large room in the back of the barn where they stored inventory. It took her a few minutes to go through it, but there wasn't a painting like the one Mary had shown her. In fact, there wasn't anything from the Smuckers to say. As she looked around, she wondered why Mary had a photo of the painting. She snapped a picture. She snapped a picture of everything that had come from the Smuckers. She hurried back to the shop and found her sister straightening up a large stack full of bakeware. There's no painting like that in the back, she said quietly. Where did you get the picture you showed me? Mary crossed her arms and leaned against it. I realized I hadn't seen the painting, so I searched it online and just by describing the painting. Oh, I thought you might have taken pictures of Anita's things. Actually, I did. Martha asked me to go so I could put the inventory list together, but I didn't get a shot of the painting before it disappeared. After I went online, it didn't take me long to find what I was looking for. I'm pretty sure this is what I'm looking for. She pulled up a picture on the tablet once again. Elizabeth looked closer. There was a young woman sitting near a window. She was writing a letter. Lying in the girl's lap was a sleeping cat. The color of the picture were rich and appealing. The light was created by a deep glow that highlighted the subject's face. Lizzie, this painting was by a 16 painter named Tori. It was stolen years ago from a museum in Italy. She paused. It's worth $6 million. Elizabeth had to bite her lips to keep laughing out loud. Oh, Mary, what would Warren be doing with a stolen Italian painting? That mild-mannered young man certainly didn't have anything to seem like an international art thief. Mary scolded at her sister. But we really don't know, do we? Well, maybe not. But I guess this painting was among the items Nita bought from us. I just don't remember it. Mary seemed to study her for a moment. But I do. Do you think I'm lying? Elizabeth sighed. Of course not. But it couldn't. But you could have been saying, no, I'm most certain, absolutely certain. Elizabeth wrapped her arms herself. The air wasn't cold, but some reason chills ran through her. Then why isn't it in our inventory list? Only one reason I can think of. Somebody took it before we were able to make note of it. We were the only people near Nia's piece. None of them were shown. Well, Lizzie, there was one other person. She realized who Mary was referring to. She shook her head. Are you saying that Ruth Zook, our pastor's wife, took it? That's ridiculous. Now wait a minute. You were a little suspicious about the bracelets. Why don't you think she might have taken a painting? Well, she bought the bracelet. Maybe she found out that it was worth more than she thought. But a painting, well, why would she steal it? She said before, I was confident in our pastor's wife isn't a thief. Mary said, Anita wants to know the location of everything we said. The painting is missing, and if we didn't sell it, it's going to be hard to explain what happened to it. Yes, it is, but we've got to follow up on it. We need to figure out where it is. And Mary nodded in agreement. Yes, we do. I really think that this is the item that she's looking for, Lizzie. Elizabeth nodded, or sighed. Well, let's hope not. I still say it's not likely. She thought for a moment. I bet even if it looked like that, it'd be a print. It's not an original. This wasn't a print, Lizzie. I looked at it myself. I'm a painter, and I know what real painting looks like. Elizabeth sighed. Well, let's hope it's not. I'm still saying it's not likely. Oh, wait, that. Elizabeth watched her sister walk away. Could the picture be treasured Anita was looking for? Could they really have lost something so valuable? Well, I don't think they were looking at. Elizabeth walked back into the table where she had placed the devotion book she dropped earlier, picked it up, and took it to the front of the shop where Martha was shaking her head. She probably needed it inspired in the next opportunity. She looked up to see the face of climbing out of the buggy and opening. Phoebe waved at Elizabeth as she prepared to exit the buggy with her mother. Rachel's twins, Thomas and Matthew, had already kicked the dirt at one another as they made their way around the horses towards the shop. Their 6-year-old son, Dorcas, trailing behind them. Rachel reached into the back of her buggy and pulled out a large bundle wrapped in brown paper. Phoebe insisted on carrying it. As they approached, Elizabeth called on her sisters to join her in greeting their neighbors. Both May and Martha exchanged hugs and Phoebe and ushered the Fishers into their son. Good morning, my friend, Rachel said. It looks Like, it's so good to see these doors wide open and your mama's shop back in business again. She turned to take the interior filled with items of all kinds. This makes my heart sing. Elizabeth wished she felt the same way at the moment, but she put the best on it and she go, "Welcome, Ryan. Phoebe told me to expect you. We're glad to see you here." "Well, what kind of neighbor would I be if I didn't come and pray God's blessing on your new endeavors?" Rachel laid a gentle hand on, nodded, and greeted. "I know you are busy. We will not stay but a minute. However, I want to bless you with a little something." Georgia said. She motioned to offer the package. Said, "Now this is a gift, and you will be able to, and you are to use it as you see fit. However, you might want to add it into your merchandise and sell it to help make ends meet. No doubt your expenses have been great, but you prepared to open business." Elizabeth couldn't help but think that she has no idea. Tears welled in her eyes as she accepted it, tore in the paper, an extremely beautiful hand-stitched quilt in an Amish basket pattern. Rachel Fair is known for her beyond beautiful quilts. "Oh, Rachel, you shouldn't have," Mary Martha echoed in her sentiment. All three of the classmates caressed the soft fabric. "You would not have to rob us for a blessing, now would you?" Rachel pulled Doris by her side and draped her arms over her 6-year-old as she spoke. The shy girl, head hidden beneath her bonnet, wrapped her. "No, of course I won't. But how can we ever say thank you enough? This is such a precedent. This is a gift of God's love. That is too precious." Rachel laughed. This is just a little something that I've thrown together in my spare time." She laughed again. In unison, laughed. They knew their Amish neighbors poured hours and hours for loving care into each quilt she made. "We will display it promptly," Mary said, "but, for one, I might secretly wish that it doesn't sell too soon, so we can enjoy it in its beauty for many days to come." "I second that wish, and I third it," as she in front. "Thank you all. It's truly blessed to have you as our neighbors and as friends." As she spoke, she offered up a silent prayer of thanksgiving for God to remind that, even in our midst of trials, they are not alone. And that is the end of the chapter. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I know it took me a little bit to read it, but I hope you guys truly appreciated that. And chapter 6 will be up soon. Bye!